This will be a brief video about the old worn Bellevue winches. They're a brief overview. There's quite a bit of information on the internet, but back in the 60s, the Bellevue company sold winches to Warren to sell to their customers. And later in the 60s, Warren purchased the company, purchased Bellevue Winch Company, and started calling them Warren Bellevue winches. At that time, they re-rated them from 6,000 pounds to 8,000. And the two reasons I've seen or read was, one, they just really reclassified them based on the power, or redesigned the motor. I've seen both explained on the internet, so I'm not sure which one's true, but it's a pretty good winch, a little old school. This one did have cable controls hooked up, but I found them to be pretty problematic over time. They kept needing to be tinkered with, so I really just disconnected them. I run it with a push button inside. It powers in only, does not power out. If you need to brake, you push this manual lever on the side to brake. To disengage or to free spool, you push this lever in that pulls the pin out, and it free spools. I'm not going to do that here in the truck because it's under tension right now, but I do have a couple set up here on a table so you can see the operation a little better. You can see just one wire hookup for the motor because it only powers in. The gear train is reminiscent of the newer 8274 winches. And you can see the braking mechanism here on the shaft, part of the gear train in the winch. It's asbestos lined, and you can see the cable control hooked up to this lever and then to this link here, and then went into the vehicle. The free spool mechanism, you can see the hookup here for the cable, and the cable clamp here, and that would also go inside. And it's pretty easy to run because it's got a good fulcrum on that lever, so it engages and disengages pretty freely. And there was a third control that ran a solenoid, and this, I believe, is the old switch. I'm not certain because it doesn't have any markings on it, but I think this was the old worn Bellevue switch that you just hooked up to your power leads and mounted somewhere in the engine bay probably. It's spring loaded to the off position, and then you can see the cable hookup on there here on the paddle, and then you'd clamp the cable here, and you can see that it comes in and spring loaded to the off position. And this one looks like it's been melted. It does still function, but more than likely somebody had it on for quite a while and melted the plastic. So I really don't know if this is where this came from or not, but it is a cable controlled switch that came with this winch when I bought it for parts. And it does still work, so I haven't dismantled it. I'm just kind of having it stand by for parts for the one that's mounted to my truck. And you can see the difference between the two. The 8274 is next to it, that has the brake mechanism built in. You hear the clicking. The pawl, the spring-loaded pawl at the bottom, as you pull the winch in, it will adjust that and stop. It'll automatically brake for you if you have tension on the winch and want to reposition. So it's pretty safe in operation. It won't unspool. Whereas the Bellevue, because of the manual brake, if you don't have the manual brake applied, it can just unspool. So it's a little bit of a conundrum sometimes, like on a hill or something where you want to hold tension. But that's where other means would become necessary, or it doesn't take a lot of pressure really to hold this in here. It's just the fact that you have to actually hold it in. And even with the cable controls, it didn't hold real well, so I just disconnected the cables on my other truck. And the free spool mechanism on the 8274, you just push this lever in, or push this knob in. It won't quite go in because things are static right here, but that'll go in, free spool out, or because of the mechanism, you can unspool this, or the two-speed motor, or not two-speed, but forward and reverse motor. You can power this out as well. I may mount this one to my truck. I'm not sure. The Bellevue is already on there, and it's not used very often, so I might just leave it alone. But there we have it, a brief explanation of the Warn Bellevue winches. These two are Warn Bellevues. They're not Bellevue. They do have just a little bit of the label left. You can see Warn winch on there, and the same thing with the one on the truck. So these are both the late 60 model Warn Bellevue 8,000 pound winches, not the earlier 6,000 pound Bellevue. But there we go. Have a great afternoon.